brought you back to Buffalo?
Actually, what brought me back to Buffalo, my pop passed in 1981. And so my mom was taking care of my baby sister who was very sick. She was having kidney trouble. So I came home to help support my mom. And so it was that reason that I came back to Buffalo in the early 80s. And then I can't remember exactly. It was probably Frank Messiah who, parenthetically, let me back up. My dad got into all these, into radio and everything, not on his own. There was like always the community backing you. People like Frank Messiah and NAACP were always pushing for Black African-American representation in the media.
Right.
So it's important to know that he just wasn't on his own. And the same way, when I came back to Buffalo, people like Frank Messiah helped me get connected. Frank Messiah, who connected me to John Smith, who connected me. Then I was able to hook up with Channel 7 in Buffalo. And that's how I came back to Buffalo. And that's how I started working in Buffalo.
Okay, and you were working at Channel 7. Were you working at any other stations?
Not in Buffalo at that time, just WKBW, and I was doing other freelance jobs. And it was in part-time. I wasn't full-time at WKBW. I was working with Sarah Norrat on Buffalo Beat. Okay,
so let's talk about Buffalo Beat. That was actually where I had my exposure to television, on the Buffalo Beat show. Talk to our audience about what the Buffalo Beat show was all about.
Yeah, it's similar to what my dad was doing. You know, like even in the 80s, there wasn't a whole lot of platforms that mirrored correctly our communities, people, brown and Black people, our communities, what's going on economically, spiritually. Those kind of issues were usually not dealt in general unless there was a problem. So Buffalo Beat served a really great purpose in that it enabled people from the community to come on and talk about their issues. It was really good. And then I was able to also add, when I joined, that video of, we used to do all kinds of dramatic things, and I would use people from Ujima Theater Company, you know,
right.
and little comedy bits and things like that. So, but I really have so much appreciation for people like Sarah Norrat and WKBW to really have that sense that we need a place to express our grievances, our happiness, just like is relevant today, what's going on in Minnesota. You know, we always have to have a way to communicate what's good with us and what's bothering us. So Buffalo Beat, tremendous.
And I want to tell you that, and the audience, I was introduced to you back in the summer of 1988, and I can remember sitting in that conference room on the second floor at WKBW TV, in the room with you, and I remember being in that room with you and Sarah Norrat and Muhammad Furqan and Patrice Allen and many other people that were part of that show. And I'm the youngest one in the room. I'm 16-year-old kid. And I'm not talking. I'm just sitting here, and as I was sitting there and sitting in the studio onto the sidelines, I was definitely, and coming with you on shoots, I was definitely soaking up the energy that was going on and soaking up the knowledge that was going on in the room. And after I got out of college and got into the workforce in the 90s, by 1998, I produced a television program called BCTV Tonight when I started working with the Public Access Center. And BCTV Tonight, and I have a clip of it, I have a video of it on the Buffalo History Channel. It stood on the shoulders of Buffalo Beat, because I remembered that show, and that's what I wanted to pattern BCTV Tonight after, because I saw the stuff that we were doing in the community, and at that time the community really didn't have the exposure. The community didn't really have a show that represented the voice of Buffalo's African American community at that particular time, and I wanted to fill that void. Also, to kind of make it a platform for some up and coming young people in the area that might not have been able to get into the TV or radio stations, kind of get their selves out there. So it was also a training ground and a platform for them as well.